There's a new definition of insanity that I came to, and it's kind of relative, but not. But I want to share my new definition of insanity, and that is when we expect the government that is causing the problem to be the solution for the problem that it created, we are all losing our minds. And, I share that because as we go through a lot of the changes that are happening and unfolding right before us, we are in fact dealing with changes that are beyond our control. And we often talk about the philosophy and the mindset and being stoic and realizing that there are so many things that are happening that are beyond our control. And all we really can control is our thoughts, our processes, and really the emotionality, how we react to those changes that are happening. And when I came up with that definition of insanity, if we continue to live into this expectation, and I see it a lot, I sometimes actually fall into it. I actually go, when is the government going to fix this? And I go, what a ridiculous thought process that is. And it
Totally.
speaks to what we're talking about in this change.
100%. It's funny, when you think about the old definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I think that's also part of the resistance to change. And when you think about results and you think about taking action, making mistakes, a result, making a choice to either do something again or to stop doing something, that's all mindset. And I think when we define mindset in terms of change and what it can create from positive and negative, there's just results that happen. I
Mhm.
think we could dig into it a little bit in a way that we can take more responsibility for our actions and how we perceive change. You talk about the Stoics, we can only control what we can control and our response to things. But I think we're entering a state of life, for me anyway, and maybe it's just my age, but whereby I'm starting to see that the changes that I'm being forced to make externally, I'm not in choice. I'm
Mhm.
actually, when I'm having to make a choice, I'm feeling pressure and sometimes even coerced. Think about some of the new taxes that are coming online in Canada. Like, I don't want to be doing the government's work for them. The CRA and all the Canada workers just went on strike because they don't want to go to work for 2 days a week and they want to make way more money and stay home. And
Mhm.
that's on me. I have to pay for that. And now I'm doing more work. So these are changes that I think if we shine a light on, we don't have to always like it. And maybe, we have to eventually find a stand potentially.
Yeah, potentially. And let's not minimize what the workers were striking about. And I'm not, believe me, I'm the last person that will, stand and say they should strike. I don't buy into any of it. I'm always, kind of suspect of public service, anyways. But it wasn't just about 2 days a week. It was about pay raises and working conditions. Got it? How much they do? I mean, there was a lot to it. I just don't want to minimize it. That's all. That's it. That would be.
No, that's fair. I appreciate that. And I guess I get all fired up about it because as a self-employed person, you know, the government workers were not at the effect of the lockdown and businesses shutting down. They still got paid and now they want to get paid more. So yeah, do I have an issue? And we may lose some listeners because we do have some dear friends and colleagues and clients that are government workers. We're
Mm.
not talking about you. We know you work hard. I'm just talking about the concept about the way that the change or the demands were
Put
I thought they were
presented. Yeah,
not
yeah.
appropriate.
I think that's always that is interesting. I got into a little bit of a banter on Twitter with a guy who's going, they deserve it. They need to walk out. That's the only way they can do it. And I go, why would I? Why is it okay for them to put me out? Like, why is it okay for them to cause the inconvenience to thousands of people, tens of
Hundreds of
thousands,
thousands.
or yeah, really hundreds of thousands? Why is that okay? And he says, well, no, they're not going to do that. They're have a skeleton crew working. And I just said to him, I go, if they were able to strike without inconveniencing anybody, they would lose all negotiating power. So trust me, we're going to be very inconvenienced. And he goes, oh, we'll see. Well, 3 days later, I go, okay, so into the we'll see part. What part of delayed passports and delayed returns of income tax and all there was a number of things that were showing up, immigration files being already late, now even later. So there was a
Oh yeah,
ton
it's
of
ridiculous. And
inconvenience. Yeah. So good news is they're all back to work. So this isn't the point. So the point of it is that as much as this may sound like a rant or it may sound like we're bitching, and we kind of are, it does play into what's happening in the world and what this topic is really about.